Hi everyone. Today I'm teaching a lesson on June Paik. Paik is one of the founders of video art and a key figure in new media art. He treated television like an artistic material, not a neutral device, and used it to question culture, power, identity, and how technology reshapes attention. New media art is art that uses modern technology as the medium or that depends on technology to exist and be experienced. It is often time-based, meaning it unfolds over time. It can be interactive, meaning the viewer's presence or choices affect the experience. It can involve connectivity, meaning networks, broadcast culture, or global communication. It can be immersive, meaning you experience it as an environment. And it can be hybrid, meaning it blends sculpture, sound, performance, and moving image. Paik was born in 1932 in Seoul, Korea. He studied music and art in Japan and Germany, and later joined experimental art circles in Europe and the United States. A big influence was Fluxus, a movement that valued play, experimentation, and breaking down the boundaries between art forms. That mindset matters because Paik refused the idea that art had to be one thing. He mixed media constantly. Paik also lived through the rise of television as a major power. TV shaped politics, advertising, and pop culture, and most people were passive consumers. Paik wanted to interrupt that passivity. He wanted viewers to notice what screens do to us and to see TV as a system that changes reality. I'm going to focus on three works: TV Buddha, TV Garden, and electronic superhighway. For each one, I'll describe what it is, what it feels like to encounter, what ideas it communicates, and how it connects to new media elements. I'll also relate it to life today. First is TV Buddha from 1974. In TV Buddha, Paik places a Buddha statue facing a TV monitor. A camera records the statue live, and the monitor shows that live feed. So the Buddha watches itself in real time. The artwork is a loop, a feedback loop. Experiencing this work feels quiet, but not simple. The statue is still and calm, while the camera and screen are constantly active. You end up watching a system of watching. The Buddha watches itself, the camera watches the Buddha, the TV displays the Buddha, and you watch the whole circuit. One interpretation is surveillance and self-surveillance. Buddha often represents inner awareness. Here, attention is pushed outward toward the screen. That feels modern. People watch themselves through screens constantly, through photos, video, and social media profiles. Paik is predicting a world where the self becomes a performance inside a feedback loop. Another interpretation is the meeting of East and West. The Buddha stands for tradition and spirituality, while television stands for modern mass media. Paik places them together without telling you what to conclude. He sets up a question. Does media disrupt spiritual focus, or does it create a new way to reflect on the self? TV Buddha is also about time. The statue suggests timelessness, while the video feed is pure present tense. The loop keeps renewing itself. That creates a tension between deep time and instant time. As new media art, TV Buddha is time-based because the meaning exists in the ongoing live loop. It is interactive because the viewer's awareness completes the work, and your interpretation changes what it is. It is hybrid because it combines sculpture, live video, and installation into one experience. Pause and ask yourself, does this feel calming, unsettling, or both? Is it meditation, surveillance, or media addiction? The power of Pike is that a simple system can hold many meanings. Next is TV Garden from 1974. In TV Garden, Pike places multiple television sets among living plants. The screens play moving images, often colorful and rhythmic. You get a strange mix of organic life and electronic glow. The experience can feel beautiful because the flicker looks alive, almost like breathing, but it can also feel unsettling because screens do not belong to nature and yet they are placed like they do. Pike suggested that television is part of ecology. In other words, technology becomes part of the environment humans live inside of. TV Garden can be read optimistically as a vision of coexistence between nature and technology. It can also be read critically as a sign that media is invading and colonizing natural space. The work is strong because it allows both readings at once. It also changes how you relate to a screen. In a living room, TV dominates attention. In a garden, attention moves through space, texture, and light. Pike merges these environments and forces you to ask where your attention goes now. As new media art, TV Garden is immersive because you walk through it as an environment. It is hybrid because it blends installation, sculpture, and video. It is time-based because the images and atmosphere shift as you move. The third work is Electronic Superhighway from 1995. Electronic Superhighway is a large installation that outlines the shape of the United States with bright neon and fills the map with many television screens. The screens play different video clips associated with different regions and states. You see entertainment, news, music, and cultural references all happening at once. The title is important. In the 1990s, electronic superhighway was a phrase people used to describe information networks, cable television, and the early internet. Pike is saying that the country is connected by media and that this connection shapes how people understand who they are, where they belong, and what they believe. The first thing you notice when you encounter this work is how intense it is. The neon is bright. The screens move constantly. Your attention gets pulled in multiple directions. It is hard to focus. That is not a flaw. That is the message. Media culture creates overload. It trains us to scan, switch, and chase stimulation. One big idea here is that media creates identity through selection. If a state or region is represented by a few clips, then that place becomes simplified into an image. That image might be entertaining, but it can also become a stereotype. The artwork makes you ask a serious question. How much of what we think we know about places and people comes from screens, not from real experience? Another idea is that media creates a shared national culture. People can feel connected because they watch the same events, the same news, and the same celebrities. But Paik pushes us to ask whether that connection is deep understanding or just shared consumption. If everyone is watching but nobody is reflecting, then the connection becomes shallow. As new media art, electronic superhighway is connectivity made visible. It turns network culture into a physical object. It is time-based because the screens are always changing. It is hybrid because it blends sculpture, neon, moving image, and sound. It is also immersive in a different way, not like a calm environment, but like a sensory storm you stand in front of. Now, I want to connect all three works. TV Buddha is about the feedback loop and self-watching. It shows how a screen can become a mirror that traps attention. TV Garden is about media becoming environment. It asks whether screens can feel organic or whether they invade the natural world. Electronic Superhighway is about network culture and overload. It shows how media connects us while also shaping and simplifying identity. Together, these works feel like a prediction of modern life. Today, screens are not just devices, they are systems. They shape attention, they shape emotion, they shape identity, and they shape what feels real. This is where Paik becomes especially useful. He helps us see that the biggest power of media is not what it shows. The biggest power is how it trains us to look, how it trains us to respond, and how it trains us to live inside constant stimulation. Now, I want to do a longer teaching moment the way I would do it with a student. I'm going to ask questions, then answer them using evidence from Paik's work. Question 1. What is the main problem Paik keeps pointing to? My answer is that he keeps pointing to the problem of attention. In TV Buddha, attention turns into self-watching. In TV Garden, attention becomes environmental, split between nature and screen. In Electronic Superhighway, attention is fragmented by overload. Paik is showing that attention is not just personal. Attention is shaped by technology. Question 2, is Paik anti-technology or pro-technology? My answer is that he is both fascinated and critical. He is not saying destroy the screens. He is saying understand the screens. He treats technology as a creative material, but he also reveals its psychological impact. His work is playful, but it is not shallow. It uses humor and spectacle to pull you in, then it makes you think. Question 3, how is Paik different from a normal film? Paik's art is usually not a story with a beginning, middle, and end. It is an installation or a system. It is built so your body matters. You stand near it, you move around it, you experience it in time and space. The physical setup is part of the meaning. Question 4. What does TV Buddha predict about social media? TV Buddha predicts a culture where people watch themselves constantly. Today we have selfies, profiles, analytics, likes, comments, and endless feedback. The camera is always there and the audience is always implied. It becomes normal to think of yourself as content. TV Buddha shows that loop in an extreme symbolic form. Question 5, what does TV Garden predict about daily life? TV Garden predicts a world where screens are everywhere, woven into the environment. Today, screens appear in public spaces, homes, cars, and pockets. We do not step away from media to enter nature. Media follows us into every space. TV Garden makes that mix visible. Question 6. What does Electronic Superhighway predict about the internet? It predicts that national identity and personal identity will be shaped by media networks. It predicts overload. It predicts that people will learn about the world through clips, not through depth. It also predicts that culture will become a collage of fragments, always updating, always competing for attention. Now, I want to connect Paik to the elements of new media art one last time in a clear list. First, time-based experience. Paik's works unfold over time through loops, live feeds, and moving images. Second, hybridity. He merges sculpture, performance, music, installation, and video into one experience. Third, connectivity. He is constantly thinking about broadcast, global culture, and networks of information. Fourth, immersion. His works often function as environments you stand inside of or environments that reshape how you feel in a space. Fifth, interactivity. Even when a work is not physically interactive, Paik makes your awareness part of the piece. The viewer completes the meaning. To close, I want to give one final summary that is easy to remember. June Paik turned the screen into 3 metaphors: a mirror in TV Buddha, showing self-watching and the feedback loop, A garden and TV garden showing media as environment and ecology. A highway and electronic superhighway showing networks, identity, and overload. Paik matters because he teaches us how to look at screens critically. He reminds us that media is not just content, media is an environment that shapes attention. When you learn to see that environment, you gain more control over how you think and how you live inside it. Thank you for listening.